Hello, hello, hello. I am in the garden and I wanted to at the Oregon house, and I want to show you something here. Look at that. A storm came through and hurled a bunch of tree branches down. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to clean this up today. Okay, I'm going to collect those and I will try to convince Paul to put them into a cardboard box too, and then put it there by the corner in the living room to bring good air into the living room. It smells really good, you know, it's like an air purifier. It's really, really nice. All natural air purifier. The so-called swimming pool is swimming pool is full of leaves and needles, tree needles. And I always have to check to make sure there is no animal struggling to get out. So that's why I put that cinder block there. So just in case an animal gets into this pool, that they can get back out. And they can, because we've already learned the hard way. We had a bucket out there that I put diatomaceous earth in. That was a complete mistake, because then I couldn't even see into the bucket. I couldn't see what was at the bottom of the bucket, and that's a terrible story, you know, of Kenny drinking from that bucket where there was a dead animal inside, and that animal could not get out. That was during the summer. I think it was in 2015. The animal could not get out. A little chipmunk, you know. We had already been feeding those, and I cried and cried and cried and cried. That was so infinitely sad. That seeing that little chipmunk bloated dead at the bottom of that bucket. So when we have buckets like those, those are tall, you know. If the water level is up to the rim, an animal can get in there and can swim back out to the rim, right, and then scramble down. But if the water level is halfway down, which was the case with that other bucket, there was a blue bucket, a different type of bucket that already broke apart. That bucket wasn't even as tall as those, and the water level was halfway down, and Kenny was drinking from that bucket, and the chipmunk got in it. He was thirsty, I guess, and then he couldn't get back out because the water table was so low that he could not jump up from the water up over the rim. So that was like, it was too tall for him, and then he panicked, and I wasn't there. I didn't see this happening, you know. This is making me infinitely sad. It's haunting me to this day. Those kind of things, you know. Any kind of mistake that I've made is haunting me to this day. And oh good, the license plate. Oh gosh. The license plate is on the other door of the van. The door that's open. Thank goodness, because I never pay attention to this. And then by the time I notice it, I go like, okay, I got the license plate in the video. I'm gonna have to delete it. So thank goodness that door is open now. Okay. Whew. I'm already a nervous wreck, you know, with the death threats and all of that. Okay, here is the avocado tree. This is awesome. The avocado tree is making a comeback. That was, the leaves had fallen off at some point, and now there's new leaves coming up, and this is absolutely fantastic that the avocado tree is still alive. And as you can see, this avocado tree grew from a seed in the compost. We have a lot of seeds that are opening up in the compost. We have a compost area all the way in the back. Maybe I'll show that in a moment. This is not really, so this is just sort of like learning, you know. These are just learning baby steps, basically, you know, for us. Once we have the greenhouses, we have a greenhouse there. This is just like a plastic cover, and then we have one downstairs where the lower parking lot is. We have a hard plastic greenhouse there, so but the same size as that one, so you can't really put that much stuff in it. And I never put any kind of pots in the one downstairs because there are male people coming and they probably would take our food out of that greenhouse. I don't know, but that's okay. But you know, it's also a lot of trouble to go down there and tend to the plants, so it's easier to do that over here in that one. And so, and then another amazing thing happened. An apple tree grew from a seed. Okay, this is the apple tree right here. It's an apple tree. Can you believe this? And it has leaves coming out now. Here's already a leaf. There's a leaf there. This is absolutely fantastic. An apple tree. Already like, how tall? Like 4 feet tall already. Growing from a seed. And that's because I have just tried that so many times, you know. You can't give up, you know. You have to reseed it, and the seeds have to be warm, and they have to be saturated in some kind of mud and stuff like that, and it has to be warm. So, and yeah, and look at that, it's growing buds here. It's growing buds, but of course there's not going to be apples on it. Those buds are only for the leaves. So that apple tree would need several more years, probably 10 more years before there would be fruits. Maybe 20 more years, I don't know how long. But I'm extremely excited about this apple tree growing from a seed. This is really, really something. This is great. And I hope that apple tree makes it long after I leave this existence. Apple tree, I want you to surpass my existence, okay? Please do that. And I want a happy family to be playing and kissing and making babies under this apple tree. Yes, that's what I want. I want happiness happening under this apple tree when he gets old, when he gets to be 40 years or 50 years old, way in the future, if people can even survive on this planet in 50 years. So maybe some people can. They can put a greenhouse over that apple tree. No, we're going to take this apple tree with us. And these two, they're going to be probably separated, I don't know, maybe before we move. I don't know. Maybe they like to be together. But eventually we're going to put these into the greenhouse, and then we're going to separate them because they need more space. And each gets their own bucket. There are holes, pole drilled holes into those buckets. Then you have a retainer pool underneath where the rainwater can get retained and stored, basically. And then the plants, they will soak up the water as they need it. Okay, that's how it works. So we have these cages around it because the deer like to eat young apple trees and young avocado trees. Then I have a rose here. This is a large white rose that I bought. This stem there, and I am not sure if that rose is gonna have leaves again. So I really wish deeply that the rose will make it through the winter and through all this implanting and planting out and mistakes that we made and all of that. They didn't make it at all out there on the lawn because there are moles in the ground that eat the roots. So we had to put them into the buckets, and this one had leaves after we put it in the buckets and even had a flower. But then I don't know what happened. So no, this stem there didn't have any more leaves for a long time. I hope the rose comes back. Rose, please. Okay. Please come back. Please make it through this. Okay, so then I have another rose here, and this one is completely happy, as you can see. Look at this. This is a happy rose, and this is a light blue one. Gorgeous. And this rose already had 2 flowers. Even in the winter time, I was very, very surprised. 2 light blue flowers in the winter time, and I ate most of the petals, and then I made with the rest, with the bud, I made tea with it, and that's very nourishing. Roses are very nourishing. So, and I also noticed from the living room window that all the way down there are red flowers on these trees are gorgeous. By the way, this one here, this tree that's leaning over, this tree is leaning over because the people who lived here before us, they had another tree over there, and that other tree was completely hollowed out by bugs, and we had to cut that off. So this tree here is still alive, and they had the tree had a swing which is still standing there on that cement. They had that really large heavy swing put up in between these trees, using the trees as swing poles to hold the swing up, and that caused this tree, I don't know when they started doing this, when that tree was still young, I guess, and then that swing pulled that tree over like this, made the tree suffer so bad that half of the tree had been hollowed out by bugs. That causes immune stress when people do this. And the other tree was completely dead, and just made me so infinitely sad seeing that, that people would be ignorant and use a live tree to put nails in and a chain around. The trees were literally chained up, and shackled and exploited. Made me infinitely sad. So Paul is worried that the tree will eventually fall over, might even hit someone. So he's thinking about having the tree cut halfway down, but then I don't know if the tree will make it. If you cut all the green stuff off from a tree, there's a chance that can cause a shock to the tree. So, and that happened many times, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, that tree's still alive. I love that tree. It's a gorgeous tree, and the tree has a whole lot of resin bulbs hanging on the side there. The resin is an attempt to protect the tree, like a band-aid, sort of, lots of band-aids that he created for himself in order to protect himself from the suffering, from that stress that was put on him. So he was very glad that when we came here to this property that we took that all off. But the tree has been very badly tormented, and the tree suffered a lot and is scarred for life from that. And that's very sad. It's a beautiful Douglas fir. Very gorgeous tree. Smells really, really good. So tree, I want you to survive. That would be good. And there's another really, really, really large tree. I love that tree. I love all of them. All. I love this suffering tree, this beauty. I love you, babes. And I love the big one there. And all of them. All. There's a new tree coming here. That is an oak tree that started growing much after we had moved here. So the plants, they are really glad. They are grateful that we live here. So they're all like, oh, they're so grateful. They're breathing. Yeah. So this one is some kind of lilac. So it doesn't have flowers right now, but I will show the tree once the flowers are out. Those are like light blue, really amazing light blue flowers with little, those are flowers that consist of little petal tubes. And this tree also started growing long after we had moved here. So this tree is growing very fast. This tree grew from a seed. I have no idea how this lilac seed got here, but the wind carried it over and it started growing a tree. And I told Paul not to cut that tree off because I love this lilac tree. The flowers are amazing. I love this beauty tree. Okay, absolutely gorgeous. So what I thought were flowers are not flowers. I see now. Okay, so the flowers are not ready yet. The red flowers of the Camellia japonica are not ready yet, but they're gonna be coming in about a month. That's when they will be there. Okay, so I don't want to show the neighbor's house. This is an Oregon grape. Okay, this is an Oregon grape. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it has fruits, but they're extremely bitter. That's a beautiful, beautiful tree, this Oregon grape. Absolutely gorgeous. And that too grew completely from a seed. It's huge, like, I don't know, like at least 20 feet tall. More than 20 feet tall. Incredible. Lots of stuff grew from a seed since we had moved to this house in 2010. Truly remarkable, absolutely gorgeous. So, and the property has another acre over here. There's a whole new acre. But that acre has a very steep slope that goes down to a river, to a stream. Okay, so it's really not an acre that you can use for a garden. You can go hiking on it. You can create a hiking trail that goes down. But then we ended up never doing this. We went down there a few times, but there is a guy living down there adjacent to this property, and this property is part of our property, and then his property is right next to our property down low. And that guy hunts and traps bears, and I'm afraid of that guy. So, I don't know. He said some kind of crudish stuff to us when we first looked at this property. And I don't know, I never wanted to take my dogs down there. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous property. The deer come up there sometimes, and then they jump over the fence here. This fence here was created by people before us. They had short or little dogs. Okay. And that's why they created this fence with these square loops all the way to the bottom. And so that was perfect for us, because we got the papa dog, and papa dog was short. So, but there were some holes in the fence over there. Oh, I see here, for example, I hadn't been tending to the fence in a long time. The papa always used to go in here, into this niche, into the corner. And you can see that the deer always trample down this wire fence, cheap wire fence. That's not very strong, not very sturdy, and it's not really cool. It's not really the safest solution, because the deer, they can hurt themselves on this. That's not very good. I don't like this. And when we first got the papa, we didn't pay attention. Papa got out right here, and so there were gaps in this. We had to draw this additional loop fence here later, then, to protect the papa from getting out. And when the papa moved here, the first day papa moved here, the next day we woke up, there were 2 pheasants right here in front of the fence. I thought that was strange. I had never seen pheasants here before, and basset hounds love pheasants. and the papa was absolutely thrilled to see those 2 pheasants there. That's his nature. He was bred to chase after pheasants. He's the total pheasant chaser, pheasant hunter. So, okay. I'm gonna take the computer over here. I don't want to damage the camera with the sun. I'm going to take this over here where the graves are, and sit here for a moment and get grounded. So here are the graves. This is Kenny's grave. Kenny, the albino Great Dane. And this is the papa dog's grave here. right next to each other, and we put rocks from the ocean on it as presents for them. So I'm gonna sit here. So, oh yeah, that feels good. That's nice. I'm gonna put the computer here. I don't know. Oh. It's nice to get grounded like this. I'm gonna have all of these stickers there. These stickers. These in particular. These are seeds from I believe from this needle tree. And they end up in my sweater, but I can't worry about this, that's okay. It's not a big deal. So anyway, I wanted to show the garden because I absolutely love this garden. Absolutely love it. I love being here. It feels really, really relaxing. And it feels like it's healing my battered brain. That poor battered brain. From the death threats and the hate and covert hate and all of this. All these things that people are doing, the role play, the psychological torment, and I don't understand why they have to do that. So, because I say no to Islam, I guess. So they think their religion, they think they need to murder the infidel. Everything is so reversed, in this world, so reversed. I don't even know. I don't know how to bring my message across, if I say you guys are infidels to this planet. You guys are infidels to your own bodies by adhering to a violent, destructive religion. Then you will misunderstand it and you will say that I'm attacking you. Not attacking you. I'm just trying to reach you. I'm trying to reach your mind. And I don't know how to do it. I'm just reaching out, trying to reach your mind. So I'm not a god, so I can't miraculously put sunbeams into your brain and make you understand. So I can only explain stuff as good as I can with my own words, and most of the time I don't reach people. And it's sad, but I try anyway. It's nice. It's very soothing, very tingly. It has a little scratchy thing on the top. Scratchy, 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 scratchy. Scratchy, scratchy, scratchy. I have have to pamper myself, I have to say, Nicola, you are lovely and you're deserving of love. And sometimes it's very difficult to even say that. When the haters bully me so much every day, and say such mean things to me, such horrible things. And then I almost, when I say, Nicola, I say that mechanically. Nicola, you're lovely and you're deserving of love. Then I'm almost feeling embarrassed about saying that. Because I feel like the haters, when they spy on me and they see me doing affirmations and stuff like that, they will laugh, or they will misinterpret it as vanity, or they will say, ooh, how can she say something like this about herself? Because apparently they don't find me lovely. Okay, and it's very sad. Very, very sad. They think I am a monster. They think I am the devil. And that's very sad. How can a compassionate person be a monster? But Islam is a monster. And I'm not calling you a monster because that pain is already there. That's why you say this in the first place, because you adhere to a monstrous religion. And you don't think about the consequences of that. You don't think about what that religion does to the world, how much suffering it causes, how much oppression and how much criminality and rape and all of that this religion causes. You can only think about this from a very suffering perspective. You can only think about this from the perspective of, now you have this you're on the bandwagon, you're in an echo chamber, and that makes you feel like now you're part of something, like a football team. It's the same principle. Now you feel like you belong to something. It doesn't matter how violent it is, how cool and all of that. I need to get out of the sun. Okay, this is better. Oh, this is so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. So gorgeous here. It is gorgeous. So, yeah, that's what it is. It's a violent religion. And it makes the world suffer. Okay. And that's the reality, that's the truth. And all religion is really sort of like dualism and separatism. That's what it is about. Most religions don't even allow people to mix with other people. It's all sad, they're not even allowed to make friends with other people that are not of their religion. That's not love. That's dualism, that's separatism, that is creating a front. That's creating a war front. We're all brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter what your skin color is or your culture that you grew up in, okay? And I question culture. I question all culture. culture is the same as religion. Culture in terms of something, that people identify themselves with. Something that people identify themselves with. That they think that is what makes them them. That's their identity. They can't think that they are a precious living being without that identification. You don't need an identification to be a precious living being. Okay. Matter of fact is, the more people adhere to a group, the more they blend into that group, and they're actually dissolving in that group. Their inner child is really beaten down into a coffin in that group, psychologically. The inner child, the real you, the real person, the real individual. People use words, individualism, like they're individualists. No, they're not. They're echo chamberers. Okay, and they hate me because I'm standing against Islam. I'm the only one in the whole world. I don't know, that's what it looks like. I'm sure I'm not, but there are very few people who stand up against that, really stand up against it. Not with some shitty cartoon or with some mocking or with some my religion is better than your shit. Okay? No, that's not how I stand up against it. I stand up against it as me, as myself, as the person that I am, okay? As the mother, as the lover of all beings, I stand up against a violent religion. Feels good to be in the garden. This is what being alive is about. Sitting on the lawn like this, looking into all the beautiful trees and the sunbeams of love coming through the trees. Listening to the wind in the trees. That's existence. That's being alive. That's being in the flow. That's being in love with yourself and with everything around you, That's when your blood flows freely, when everything in your body flows freely, The flow of love. Okay. And I wish I could convey that to the world. Love yourselves. Every one of you is gorgeous and beautiful and precious and deserving of love. That's the truth. Okay? Every animal, every squirrel, every dog, every giraffe and elephant and cat, octopus, whale, all beings, okay? The chipmunks, the mouse, the rat, all beings, the birds. You, everyone is precious. Every body. Okay. Every individual body, living body. Okay. The dead bodies are there in the ground. Okay. They're being recycled by life bodies. Okay. And that's life. That's existence. I read a page by Thich Nhat Hanh last night on the couch, and he said when he was 19, his teacher, a monk in a monastery in Vietnam, he taught him how to meditate on a corpse. That is part of the meditation training. And he said he didn't want to do it. He said, I'm 19, I don't want to meditate on envisioning a corpse decomposing, right? Why should I be doing this? And the monk laughed and he said, no, that's part of the meditation training. Okay, the sooner you practice this, the better. Okay, because you don't want to get really old, and then you meditate on it, and then your mind can't even really deal with this. So, also, when people are young, they're still teenagers, and they get into meditation, and they meditate on life and death. This is part of life. Death is not separated from life, okay? Then they can drop the resistance of, that fear of death, and they can look at the whole picture of existence. The whole picture of existence is I exist, and at some point I will not exist anymore. Okay, and people try to really shun that out of their minds. My friend Lana was extremely afraid of death, like to a mental illness point. I shared some stuff with her from Thich Nhat Hanh and other people, and she liked that. She liked what they said, but then she wasn't exposed to that enough. She was exposed to other people that are afraid of death. She was exposed to fundamentalist Christians, and didn't get anywhere. I hope there are no mosquitoes around here. Oh, looks like mosquitoes now. So people weren't the environment that she was living in. Those people, they weren't helping her. I don't know if I made any sense for her. So she hung up the phone one day and never talked to me again, because I talked against religion, and I talked against the stuff that she wanted to believe. She wanted to believe that some of those scam documentary films, literally scam, they were like 1%. They used 1% truth, and everything else was fabricated around it. And she wanted to believe that. I should have let her. I should not have struggled with her. That was a mistake. But I struggled. I'm not a god. So that was in 2000. That was in January 2013, when I said to her, see, Armageddon didn't happen. And I pointed out a bunch of stuff. And I had a chip on my shoulder with her because of the way she treated me in the animal coalition group, that she asked me to participate in. And so whatever I suggested, she was kind of siding with the other people, and that really pissed me off. And nobody was really on board with anything I suggested. When I said we need to have a very strict mandatory neutering and spaying legally, this should be mandatory from the government. Everyone stood against it and said, no, you can't impose that on people. Everyone gets that libertarian point of view from talk radio. They turn on the radio, more indoctrination. They go to the church, more indoctrination. They go to their friends, more indoctrination. They go to the doctor, more indoctrination. More and more and more and more indoctrination that goes against you, your individual person, your inner child, your real love, your real compassion. That's what's going on. Okay. I'm trying to convey this to the public, but it seems extremely difficult. I am only met with resistance. But yeah, maybe here and there is someone who eventually says, yeah, I hear you, I see what you're saying, makes sense. Very rarely, but it happens. And so I make these videos for those people, but I also make the videos for the haters and for people who are in resistance, because I believe that these are sunbeams of love, okay? And they get into your brain, and you may be you look to the outside like you're stagnated, but nothing is stagnated. I know that the sunbeams of love, that they help you, even in just, I don't know, footsteps of moving forward into the world. Okay? Baby steps. So these are baby steps, sunbeams of love that create baby steps in your life. Okay, so of moving forward in the right direction. So maybe the person that hears me talk, maybe they go to the store, they have a gun in their pants pocket. They feel like shooting people, and then they remember what I say, and they change their minds, and they look at the people in the store, and they see, oh, these are people just like him. Those are everyone, women, men. They have their own struggles, they're coughing, they have their own illness, they have financial problems. You overhear people talk to each other. They talk about their governmental support. They talk about the worries that they have of losing that. Those are real worries. Those are existential worries. A lot of people falling through the grid now because of affirmative action. So they're all alive, just like you are. They're living beings, whether they're white or any other color. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what skin color anyone has. They're alive. They're living beings. Or if they are striped or checkered or played or have hearts on them. I have a heart on my arm. Natural heart. Heart spot. They call those birthmarks. I got it from my mother. This is actually from the Mongolian bloodline. It's very nice. The Mongolians, they have bluish brown birthmarks. Very cute. I want to make another video in the house. There's a lot for me to talk about in regards to psychology, so I just wanted to make a garden video and just talk about life and existence here and getting grounded. This is so important. Don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate the importance of getting grounded on the grass. So I bring this up all the time because I want you guys to go out there and remember to get grounded outside on the lawn. This is very important. Put your hands on the grass like this. Very, very important to do this. Very important. When the grass is wet, you can just go on all fours, like I showed before at the other house. So now the grass is nice and lush, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous here. I wanted to share this, how gorgeous this is. It just feels so incredibly good. Last night too, I went out here in the dark with my flashlight, my headlight, And I was lying down on the grass and I was looking at the moon. The moon was out. And the moon had a really large halo around it. Because there were clouds in the sky. And this halo, that was so incredibly nice, the way that looked. That's so awesome. It's nice, yeah, I wanted to share that. Sharing love and nature. It's self-love. Self-love is very important. I see that most people don't love themselves. It's very sad. They're indoctrinated by all these institutions and by the media, the corporate agenda. The media are really, they're basically infomercials for the corporate agenda. Whatever you're watching, whatever is any kind of popular stuff. Infiltrated, dictated to by the corporate agenda, what to say, how to influence the public, and so on. In favor of the medical industry, in favor of the pharma industry. Those are industries that are for profit only. They're not for you. It's very rare that you go to a physician or a pharmacist who is actually on your side and who says, kiddo, you don't need all of these toxins. I had an old psychiatrist in LA, real old man, and he kind of took a liking to me after a while. He kind of felt touched by some of the stuff that I said. And he said, kiddo, that was a long time ago, I was still a kid. And he said, you don't need all of these poisons. I'm like, what? My psychiatrist says that? He who gets the kickback money, he says that to me. So that made me like him. Dr. Shapiro. Wherever you are, I send you sunbeams of love. There are not many people that are feeling compassion at any moment in time. The compassion has been buried under mountains and mountains of indoctrination and ego identification. I cried last night again. Like a piggy. Feeling sorry for myself. I finally went in the living room, sat there on the couch. I didn't want to wake Paul up, and I didn't want this to echo across the street to the neighbors. Paul didn't hear anything. He took his hearing aids out, and I had my window open in my bedroom because it's gotten warmer. I'm so happy about that. So I went in the living room. I drank my rhododendron and Christmas tree tea, and I sat on the couch and I cried. And I talked to myself, and I talked to the blue god, and I said, blue god, I'm very lonely. It's very hard to be lonely. Very hard. I love Paul and everything, and that's much better than being completely alone, of course. But Paul is in resistance to the flow of life. He's in resistance to truth and healing, really. And that makes me feel very, very lonely. I don't feel like there is, I don't feel understood, by Paul or anyone. My family overseas, they don't understand me at all. I have almost nothing in common with them. So I broke away from them, and that's very, very good for me. That's very healing. Okay. My therapist, Esther Odermatt, already recognized that a long time ago, that I needed to break away from them. It took me a long time after she said that I needed to break away. It took me a long time to finally do it, but I never forgot what she said and her encouragement of that. She said, you can make it on your own. You have what it takes. It took me a long time. Oh, so now I'm at the threshold again in my life. I'm at this very threshold again. I don't know if I can make it out of here. That I don't know if I can. That takes Herculean courage to get out of this. I'm pampered here. Paul is pampering me. He cares and it's all touching, it's all good. But he doesn't understand me psychologically. If I'm jealous, he'll say, jealousy's bad. Okay. Well, that will make us not understood whatsoever. If you're jealous and you're crying, and can you imagine your psychiatrist said to you, that's just bad. I recommend you not to do it. Or, like a minister or something. Or jealousy is bad. Or some kind of judgment like that. No, you're jealous in that moment, okay? I'm jealous. I deal with it, okay? I'm not gonna suppress it. I'm not gonna shut it out. I know I can't do that, okay? I know that. I always knew that my entire life, that I can't do that. Whatever I feel at any moment, at every second in my life, this is what I'm feeling. Jiddu Krishnamurti said, whatever you're feeling, you are in that moment. I am jealousy in that moment. I am envy. If I feel happy, I am happy in that moment. If I am angry, I am the anger in that moment. I can't suppress that, so I have to deal with it. I have to look it in the eye and say, anger, what is it? What are you trying to tell me? Or jealousy, what are you trying to tell me? What is it? You want to feel something. Okay. What is it that you have to say? What is it that I should be feeling? Yeah. Not suppress it, not run away from it, not take drugs, okay, of any sort, not drown it out with alcohol, but face it. You're jealous, it's okay, it's, society shuns all of these emotions. Forget society, forget it, question that. You're jealous, deal with it. Okay. I'm here for you in that moment, okay? Mama is here for you. You can feel it. The blue god is here for me. And the blue god says, it's okay. You can feel jealous. It's not a big deal. It's not an issue. You're jealous in this moment. Now let yourself feel jealous for as long as it takes. It's not going to take forever. It's just going to run its course through your system, and you feel it all the way. And forget about time. Okay? Forget about like someone telling you you have 10 minutes to cry and then you have to straighten out and come back to work or something like this. No, that's bypassing existence. No, you go home, you leave that job, you sit down and you take all the time you need to sort things out and to cry through. That's the healing path. Okay. And a real friend is there for you. Paul doesn't know better. He means well. He wants to be a real friend, but he can't be. He just can't. Because he's in resistance, so he shuts me off too. He shuts my emotions off too. So I don't really feel like I have a real friend because of that. That's why I feel so alone. A real friend is there for you all the way through, no matter what you feel. Don't act it out. Don't throw a meat hook in someone's face. That's a living being in front of you. Just like you. Say to that person how you feel. Say it. Say it. And the real friend will listen without judgment. Okay? And that's how we move forward. That's how we heal our emotional pain. This is the truth, what I'm saying. Okay? You guys take care. Bye.